Hey guys, got myself here, Slayer and Zayn here.
Yo, what's up, guys?
We're doing a tier list of like UK rappers. It's 25 rappers, different styles. You've got some grime MCs, got some guys who have done like rap, pop. You got like drill. You got like Afro swing and like all of the different stuff. So yeah, we're gonna do it. I created a tier list myself. I got all the images from Pinterest. So if you guys are
Hit up
interested in
Pinterest, guys.
finding these images, they're all on Pinterest. But obviously, there's no copyright infringement intended with these images. Just thought I'd let you guys know that. Um, but yeah, I'm a rapper. I put out my own music. Been putting out my music for almost a year. Been doing shows for a few years, so I think I'm qualified to give my opinion on this matter and tell them a little bit about
Jeez,
you.
my man.
Tell them a little bit about you.
So I know Slayer from Radio Harrow, so local radio station we volunteer at. I've heard some of his music; it's great. Check it out. And I'm a hip hop fan too. Um, don't know as much as Jamar, but I've
Where
got
would
some
you rank me as a
opinions.
rapper, honestly? Out of the categories we've got so far. So the categories we're doing are, I'm gonna bring that up now. They're GOAT,
Now you know what? You need a record
professional,
before I
good,
can do that. You need to look
okay,
put out a
good.
record, then we'll do a video, and
What, a
then we'll
project?
spend the yeah, and we'll spend the whole video just ranking you from that project.
Fair enough. Because obviously I'm above good, definitely. There's no discussion. Am I professional? Some would say I'm not. Some would say I am. I mean, me, I'm biased. So obviously, I have to put myself as the greatest rapper of all time. So, you know, so
Pure
yeah, but
objectivity, yeah? Pure facts.
pure objectivity. But honestly, I like my music more than any other artist's music. Um, I range from grime to pop to drill to R&B to bashment, anything really, Afro swing, everything. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly run through the list of rappers. If you can't notice them by a picture, first we've got AJ Tracy, D Block Europe, and we're gonna be counting groups or like duos if they mainly rap together. So like young ads wouldn't be ranked separately, but potentially we could talk about young ads separate to Dirtbag LB. So yeah, AJ Tracy, D Block Europe, Dave, Wiley, Heady One, Chip or Chipmunk, Mo Stack, J Hoss, H, Krypton Conan, M Huncho, Mist, Unknown T, Octavian, Tiny Temper, Stormzy, Rush, Slow Tie, Skepta, Gets, Dizzy Rascal, Cadet, Fredo, JME, and Young Bane. So yeah, I think we'll start with the first one. AJ Tracy. What's your opinion on AJ?
I think I mean overall I do enjoy his stuff. He's got that kind of confident presence on the mic, which I like. Whenever you hear him on a track, you know it's him. He's quite versatile in his range. He's done garage, he's done dancehall, he's done grime. I suppose one drawback is probably I think lyrically he could get a bit more deep. He does tend to stick to surface level, but I'd like to hear more about him personally in his albums. But I think he's got so much potential for the future. I mean, he's already done Alexandra Palace, which is like a huge gig. I think he did 2 nights there, so you can see he's built up a big fan base, especially with Ladbroke Grove, which brought a lot of people in, gave him that mainstream appeal. And if he connects more personally and makes a kind of standout album, standout project, then I think he can be up there with the top rappers. But for now, I still think he's got some work to do, but the talent's there.
Okay, my opinion on AJ is he's not bad. I can't say he's bad. Just don't like him. Don't like his music.
Yeah, but you can't be prejudiced. We're
I don't
being
like his
objective out here.
music.
This is
I
this is
don't like his
facts.
music. It's my opinion, innit? Like, don't get twisted. Like, there's a couple songs I like or whatever, but I don't like his music. Like when he was doing grime, he was basically like spitting grime over like trap beats or drill beats, which kind of like defeats the whole purpose of the genre, if that makes sense.
I like that track
So
he
for
does with
that
Dave, Tiago
person,
Silva.
yeah, that track's good. That track's good.
Mm.
But I mean, like when he was going like Radar and other radio stations, he would whenever he would pick the beats, there was always be um, trap or drill or something of that effect.
What do you think of that dancehall one you did, Butterflies with Notes? That was a big track.
That song was horrible. That
See,
song
I
was
liked it.
horrible.
I liked
It
it. I
won
felt
some
like it was
award or
catchy.
something, but that was
Yeah.
so underserving.
What about Ladbroke Grove? That's probably his biggest track. You a fan of that?
Labrador goes good,
Okay.
but I feel like what you said, you could have gone more in lyrically. Tell us a bit more about Ladbroke Grove. What is it like? Because
Okay.
I live in
Yeah, true.
northwest London. It's not far from West London. Um, I have some family in West London, but like I'm not in West London often, you know. So as an outsider, please let me know. Introduce me to Ladbroke Grove.
Okay,
You
I'm
know?
thinking between good and professional.
I was thinking between okay and good, so I think we're gonna go with good then.
Yeah, that evens it out. Go on.
Yeah. Right. D Block Europe. You was talking the most smoke to me the other day on WhatsApp. And
Okay.
if you don't keep the same energy, I'm leaking all them private messages
D
for the
Block Europe,
culture.
they're all right, man. No, I'm joking. So let me say honestly, like the thing is, I think they've what's happened is like people who listen casually to UK rap, I feel um, can't stop singing their praises, but I just don't see it at all. I've tried to give them a chance. I've listened to their catalog. I just feel like it's one of the most generic sounds I've heard. They can't rap, they can't sing, they put it together, and I just feel like it doesn't hit for me. There's no element of experimentation. The lyricism I find quite cringy.
Mm.
Um,
Imagine
it has to be dead for
one
me.
of the lyrics was the nitty just died in the bando, but the cat's got 9 lives. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because I feel like if you're listening to their music, you're not really paying attention. You're just putting something that sounds good in the whip or like in the background, like, yeah, you know what, this has a vibe. But as soon as you start paying a bit of attention, it just falls apart and you realize there's nothing to
Yeah,
this.
but
And
if you notice,
I don't want rap to go in that trend. That's why
if
I'd
you
put them in the
notice,
dead zone.
they're not even singing in key. Like a lot of rappers who sing use autotune. Well, almost all rappers who sing use autotune. Almost all people who sing, but that's another discussion.
All right,
But
so we agreeing on
basically,
dead. So
when it comes to singing in autotune, you have to select a certain key. So you have to select the right key to the right beat, basically. So if I made a song and it was in like if I made a drill song, it's most likely going to be in D minor because that's the most common key used in drill. It gives it that kind of darkness, that kind of sadness, you know. So if I wanted to sing over drill, say like little TJ, if he makes a drill song, then he has to select the right key, and I feel like he does in his music. But back to D Block Europe, they don't sing the right key. Lyrics don't make sense. Lyrics are weak. Dirtbag LB basically needs to be kicked out of the group. Young Ads needs to go solo. So yeah, I think we're in agreement that they're dead. Basically,
yeah, we're judging them as a duo, so it's gotta be.
we're being as unbiased as possible. Basically,
Big
Dave,
man Dave up next.
Dave,
Oh,
Santan Dave.
I mean, I've seen him live, so I'm happy to go first for this.
Okay.
So I saw him live after the Game Over project, which was the one before Psychodrama. So Psychodrama was his
Mm.
debut album, if you like. Game Over was an EP. I think his strengths all around. So he's strong bar for bar. I think he can jump on a track with anyone and hold his own. His wordplay is probably what he's most known for, and he's got some great lyrics every time he shows up. And I think the thing about Psychodrama, which kind of took him to the next level, is that ambition he showed by making a concept record. I think it's very brave to do that,
Mm.
especially in the genre. And I think he pulled it off well. He won obviously the Brit Award, the Mercury Award, so
I still
it was
haven't
well
heard his
received.
project, but from what I'm hearing, a lot of it was about like his mental health, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, and
And
the
that's a
troubles he's
really
actually
brave
given.
thing to do as a young
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
In this
and
current
especially in
era.
rap, where sometimes people don't really talk about it
Mm.
enough. But yeah, it's good. And
And
even for his,
he's able to switch up. I've heard him on drill. I've heard him on grime. I've heard him on Afro
mm,
swing. I've heard him
he's
on
versatile.
many different stuff, and he bodies everything that he's on.
I think the best thing I can say about him is when I saw him live, he did one of his 7 minute tracks, where he's telling a long story, and for the whole 7 minutes, there was silence and the audience was captivated. I don't think there's many rappers who can do that at all, but Dave's one of them. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to call anyone the GOAT because he's so young. I mean, his
Yeah,
career,
because
and he's got so long to go,
he's only
but
been in the game for a few years, so it doesn't feel right putting him as a goat.
professional, definitely. I think he's got to be above AJ if we put AJ as
Hundred
good.
percent, 100%. Wiley, the OG, the Godfather.
I'll let you kick off on this one. You got a lot to say.
Wiley, um, he's done a lot for grime, of course. He's clashed a lot of artists, and he's kind of structured a lot of the grime scene. He's run the culture forward, but then he's made songs with people like Conor Maynard, which kind of tarnishes his career slightly.
But you can make a
And
song with someone, right? I mean,
nah, but I mean, come
bring in
on,
some dough. Just go
he
go for some
disses
chart
Stormzy for
success.
making a song with Ed Sheeran when they made a
Yeah.
grime song, and Wiley made a pop song with Conor Maynard. So, and that was the other thing. He clashed Stormzy and he obviously lost. So I can't put you in GOAT. I want to put you in professional. I heard his last album and it was weak. So I have to put him. I would put him in good personally.
I think obviously if you go back a few years, he was leading the light for grime, arguably one of the main founders. But now he's probably trying to find his relevance, and he's gone into pop, but maybe in a sort of attempt to
But if you
stay on the
notice, like
charts. But
his song
yeah,
Bossy, big tune, and that went off for like a year, you know. But that only went off because of the remix. It's only the remix that went off. I still
it
haven't
also
heard
went
the
off because
original.
you were playing it every week on radio.
Yeah, had to, had to. So
All right. Well, again, he's better than AJ, isn't he? But maybe if you don't want to, I mean, he's faltered a bit over the last few years. So maybe a professional. What are you thinking?
I think like I was so excited for his album coming up. He kept pushing it back, and he completely changed it. Like some tracks on his album are basically Stormzy diss tracks with the beats like changed. Some of them. His original track listing had like Nicki Minaj, Future, Chip, and a bunch of other like really popping artists. I know with Nicki Minaj, she announced she was retired, and then she was kind of like holding up the track they did together. But the track with Future, that came out already. So why did you take it off? Future's like one of the biggest artists and one of the most relevant artists. Why would you take that off? And then you turn it into a grime album. Fair enough, you're the originator of grime, okay, but that's its own debate, which could be another day. So let's say he's the originator of grime. He didn't actually add anything to grime with his album Godfather 3. So yeah, personally, I want to put him as good, but I want to put him ahead of AJ. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would go professional as well. He's done a lot for the genre, to be fair, and
So where
we
are we
shouldn't be
going?
too.
Good or professional?
I'm saying professional because he's done a lot. He's,
We have to come to
he's
some
still.
form of agreement.
You're not agreeing with professional?
I feel like if his album
He's still
went the way
very
I,
looked up to. I mean, listen to Widely Flow by Stormzy. He's got respect in the genre. He
yeah,
did a lot
because
before our time as
he's
well.
done he's done a
Stuff that,
lot.
yeah,
He's done a lot before our time, and he's done a lot behind the scenes. But
yeah,
the past say 7, 8 years, what's he really done other than Bossy? You know?
yeah. But he still had that career longevity. However, he's achieved it. Maybe even just by Twitter spats. He's done it. He's done it somehow,
Yeah.
and people still rate him a lot. I mean, I think we can't go lower than professional. It's Wiley at the end of the day. He's a legend.
Okay. I'm professional, but the lower tier professional, yeah. Heady One, you're a big Heady One fan. I know you went to his concert.
Saw him in Brixton.
I know, yeah, I know. Certain situations happen with Heady One. Like I went to college in North London. While just before No Better came out. So I heard, and even once it came out. So I heard all the situations leading up to that, and I heard some diss tracks that were sent to him and that. Personally, I prefer the guys who dissed him basically, but not them as a whole. But I mean, I prefer the track that they released at that time, and then No Better.
Okay.
At that time, he released No Better than I think Golden Boot. I preferred Golden Boot, even though it was near enough the same song. I just preferred Golden Boot for some reason. But I think Heady One, he mainly does drill. Sometimes he dabbles in other things. I don't feel like he does enough.
Listen
I
to
feel
his
like,
recent projects. He's branching out a lot more than
yeah,
he was
I
at the
listened
start.
to,
He's really
he
pushing
sent me
himself.
one of the songs from his project and he was singing on it and it was just so awkward. It's just so cringe and
That's
out of
fair enough.
key.
I
And the
think
thing is, he's signed to Relentless now, so their A&Rs need to step up their game. Basically, I could.
I think
What was you saying?
I think you have to kind of listen to his recent stuff to appreciate that he is being more experimental as time goes on. The king of drill, he can tell a compelling story as well. I mean, a lot of people give drill some stick for being maybe a bit of a shallow genre, but he does really get personal in some of his tracks about his upbringing and how he was in his early days trying to balance, um, being on road, being a drug dealer and being a musician at the same time.
Like
Um,
I like songs like Both. When for
mm,
example, like even down to the production, like
yeah,
the sample that he used, such an
yeah.
iconic
He's
sample, you know.
in Home. Did you say
Both.
in both? Yeah, in both.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
such
that
an
sample is.
iconic sample, and he completely changed it and made it
Mm.
drill. I prefer that instrumental to the original.
Yeah, and I feel like apart from 1800, that might be his most successful song. So he pulled it off as well.
Yeah,
And I think if you going back to his live show, it was really a spectacle. Like he was definitely ambitious. He made it. It was a visual feast. Like there was so much going on, and I think yeah, he's got all the ingredients there, and he's got the ambition, just like Dave has. He can put out. He can put out a few great projects. I think. Where are you thinking about ranking him then?
I'm thinking good.
Okay, I'm between good and professional, so I'm happy to go with good with you on this occasion. He's very early in his career as well, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like he's been doing his thing much longer than then Heady won. So I think AJ it will go just ahead of him, just in front of him, personally.
All right, yeah, I'm with good on that. All right,
Chip,
Chip, you can take over because I feel like you know quite a bit about him more
the
than I.
grime scene saver. What could we say about him? During his pop days, he was holding it down. Then he came back trying to diss Tiny Temper. Tiny Temper weren't trying to respond. And then Baltimore Malone jumped in, and about like 5 other MCs jumped in. He held his own. But I don't see how Bugsy Malone lost that clash. Chip definitely didn't lose that clash either. So that clash was a draw. And the thing is, like the other MCs, like Skepta, Saskilla, and everyone else who was clashing him at the time, I think he pretty much drew against all of them pretty much. But he held his own. Like some people say he's the best MC in the country. I disagree. I think he's number 4 or 5 in Tottenham. And I think not in any order, but Skepta, Wretch 32, Akala, those guys are undeniably better than him. And then you can throw JME into the mix. Some people will argue JME is better. Some people argue Chip. But
so from the looks of it, you're thinking maybe good.
I'm thinking professional basically. He's held his own, but like
he's had that longevity as well. He's been there since I was a kid. So to be fair,
he's the only artist. He's the only artist in the UK that's been able to do a comeback. The only. And he's been rapping from he was like 15.
I guess that earns him a professional ranking then. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm putting him next to Dave.
Fair enough.
Most that.
I've heard him. I think his most prominent tracks actually tend to be features. So obviously he had No Words with Dave, which was big.
Liar.
Yeah, that was a huge track. He's been on the track with Stormzy as well. He sounds all right as a feature, but it doesn't really compel me to go and listen to his music, which I have listened to. And again, yeah, it doesn't blow me away. He hasn't got a standout project. But I guess if put it this way, if you're making an album and most tracks available, you might call him up because he can pull through on that guest verse. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I think he's okay. Nothing special, really.
I feel like the okay category is made for most acts.
Yeah.
He's just all right.
Yeah. J Hus, the most overrated UK rapper.
No
What's your
way.
opinion on that?
No
What's your opinion
way.
on that?
No way. Okay, let me tell you why. That's a strong disagreement. That is a bad take.
Okay.
So basically, this guy is one of my favorite, I would say, in the game. I think
Hustle Kojo.
Oh, us definitely. Look,
Really?
let me talk to you about why. So, I think obviously with Common Sense, at first I didn't really get the hype. It just sounded like, he was going to be a kind of one-hit wonder. He had some good, there were some good catchy numbers, no doubt, like Lean and Bot, one of the early ones, and then obviously loads of tracks from Common Sense. You had Spirit, you had Did You See, you had loads of big tracks like that with chart success. But I think the main thing about his music that I like isn't necessarily that, which he does undeniably produce some good Afro swing. Would you call it?
Yeah, that's what the genre's called. But the thing is, what I do like about him, he has reinvented his sound about 4 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Technically, he's only done like one Afro swing song, but
on
all of his songs, near enough all of his songs, are produced by the same producer, which is J5. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see? So on Big Conspiracy, which is his recent album that came out at the beginning of this year, I feel like, just like you said, he reinvented himself. He didn't go for
listened to the album because it got leaked like a few days before, so I got sent it. I like 2 songs from it, No Denying and Must Be. I think there was 1 or 2 other songs that was alright. but
I liked Helicopter as well.
most of it is
Mm.
just like filler music to me.
Nah, okay. So this is where we disagree because I think as an album it worked together really well. If you listen to the bars, he can do wordplay, but he's also got such a
Yeah,
like
but
strong personality. He's
not to the
funny as well.
standard of a Dave. You can't do
No,
wordplay to the standard of a Dave or a Chip or
yeah,
even
he's not.
Wiley when he
He's
gets in his bag.
I
Or
wouldn't say he's
even
a
Heady
lyrical
One.
miracle on their level, but he can. He's got this like charming, kind of funny, likable personality, and it comes through in his music. I feel like that's what I like about him.
I personally don't like him. I don't know why. I just don't like the guy. There's certain rappers that I don't like.
I'm out here
I
trying to be
just don't like
objective, man.
him.
Come on.
You know, I'm letting you know how I feel.
Okay, so for
So
me, he's a professional, but I'm assuming you're gonna bring it down a bit.
I would say good.
Well,
Right.
to be honest, he's
If we're
a
talking about pioneering a genre, okay, he pioneered a genre. Wiley pioneered a genre. There's things I dislike about Wiley, things I dislike about Haas. So I reckon we rank them similarly. So let's say professional, but the lower tier of professional. Because
I'll take that. I'll take that.
bar
Yeah.
for bar, he can't compete with Wiley.
Yeah.
He can't clash Wiley. He
But he's in
can't.
his own lane. He's in his own
He's
lane.
in
You've got
his
to give him
own
credit for that.
lane, but I mean, people in a similar lane to him, like Young Bane, which we'll get to eventually, um, they're at two different levels. You know, I think like the UK rate J Hus more for some reason. I don't know why. If you actually listen to J Hus and listen to a bunch of other similar sounding artists, J Hus isn't the greatest singer. You know, he's not.
I can't put my finger quite on why it is, but I just feel like is all the elements of his kind of sound come together, and with his personality, it just makes interesting music. But I'll take lower tier professional.
Yeah, all right.
It's a compromise.
H. Don't like this guy either. He's my age. He's 20 years old. Don't like him. Don't know why. I just don't like him. Certain rappers I just don't like.
I
But
mean,
but
yeah.
when it comes to some of the newer rappers, he does his thing. He switched it up a few times. But bar for bar, he can't compete with AJ. Like they did a track together, Rain. He can't compete with AJ when AJ is having a good day. He can't compete with Heady One. Um, I can't really compare him to Mo Stack really because just completely different styles, you know. So I put him
Mm.
in okay. What's your opinion on that?
I just, yeah, he hasn't done enough to go beyond the okay rating. He's had a few radio bangers, do you know what I mean? But I don't really know who he is, what he's going for, where his,
I
how
mean,
is he going to stand
every
out?
song is
How is he
about
going to stand out? I'm not sure. So I would put him in
every
okay.
song is about either females or money. One of the two. He never raps about anything different.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong
I
with
mean,
that, but you got to
he
make
made
it
a song
interesting.
with
You got to make, yeah.
he made a song with Bugsy Malone called Kilos. Thing is, he's never moved no kilos in his life, so it just don't make sense him being on a track called Kilos. But yeah, okay, ahead
Yeah,
of
he's
Mo
got
Stack
some
or behind Mo Stack.
around the same, so I'm indifferent. You can put it either.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same really. I think I just put him after just because it
He
just
has
makes
some talent,
sense.
but yeah, I'm not sure. He
He's
needs to make himself
talented,
stand out a bit
but
more.
I feel like he hasn't really put his skills to the test yet.
Yeah, exactly. Who's
Cretin
this?
Conan.
Yes.
So let's
Go
say
on.
I think we should rank them individually first, and then come back and then rank them as a group.
I'm not sure if I've differentiated well enough because I don't know. I'd be able
Personally,
to rank them as a
I
duo,
think
but go on.
yeah. So Cretin Conan, I think they're even. I think they're both at the same level, exact same level So certain tracks, Crep might get Conan on, Conan might get Crept on. You know, when I say get on, I mean like he might be ahead of him on. You know,
Mm.
so I say they're even. Right, when it comes to a group, I'd say, yeah, they're definitely versatile. But what do they rap about? Are they what do their flows sound like? They don't have the craziest flows. They're known as punchline kings, but I mean they're literally talking about nothing. So and they're just trying to throw a bunch of punchlines in like basically nothing. So
Yeah.
I don't think they could. I don't think they can be classed as professional. Or if they
Mm.
are, then it's lower professional.
Mm. I mean, where
I'm
the
being
thing
as
is that
harsh as possible, basically.
I think that there's a number of strengths. So first of all, I think their live performances are quite electrifying. I think what happened is I went to Wireless once, and J Hus was in prison at that time, so they got Crept and Conan to fill in, and they did a good job, to be fair, at short notice. It was a good show. Um, but I think what you said, kind of, once you've heard a few bars and you think, they're talented and they're reliable.
Mm.
If you hear Crept and Conan song, I know they'll put in the work and they'll sound good. But if I'm sitting through a whole project of Crept and Conan, it's going to be good. It's consistent, but it's not going to blow me away again. And I think that's what you
And
need
that's
to
the
be in
other
the
thing.
professional category. Yeah.
That's the other thing. Nothing from them has blown me away.
Yeah, it's just like I know what it's going to sound like usually, and it delivers, but they don't disappoint, but they haven't
Mm.
exceeded expectations. I feel.
Yeah. So I think good.
Yeah, I
Ahead of
agree.
AJ, yeah?
Yeah, I think they're the best out of that good category, maybe with Heady one, but yeah, I'm happy with good.
Yeah. M. Huncho. He was talking smack on him
Yeah,
as well.
you could just
Keep the
replay the
same
bit where
energy.
we were talking
Keep the
about
same
DBE.
energy. Match it.
I just feel again he's way too gassed up. Like he's
Mm.
got you know like DB, he tries to do this kind of melodic mix of he's trying to be a rapper, he's trying to be a singer. I'll just do a bit of both, and I think it just comes off as quite cheesy, quite corny sometimes. He doesn't, I'm not listening to him and really learning much about him. It's generic topics.
Imagine he had a
He doesn't
song.
stand out.
He had a song called Pee Pee, and the lyric was every time I
Yeah,
bust a nut, I take a pee
yeah.
pee.
Oh my
But it's
god,
like
I
it's a
heard
high
that one.
pitched voice. So,
Yeah,
it's just cringe. And another
it's kind
song
of
he had called Thumb, and he's talking about putting thumbs up bombs or something. It's just really cringe.
he could just be saying anything and people would
Mm.
just dig it because they're just looking after that easy accessible sound. They don't want to challenge themselves to what they're listening to.
They don't want to actually
Yeah,
listen to it. They want it
yeah.
on to vibe to or on in the background. People don't want to actually focus in on something.
Mm.
So what are we saying?
He's he can join DV. They might as well become
Yeah,
a three
I
in a
agree.
group.
Mist.
Mm.
When Mist
He's
came
a
into the game, he
mm,
every song he released, his first like 5 songs were all sounding exactly the same, pretty much. Same flow, same kind of beats, same producers, same subject matter. He still raps about the same subject matter. He still works with the same producers, but they kind of switched that up a little bit. But one thing I did like about him was his music videos. His visuals was on point. He
mm.
went to Dubai. He went to like Iceland or somewhere. He went very different places for his music videos. If there's one thing I liked about him, is there's one thing that I'd probably put him at best for is music videos. And I think if a music video is exceptional, then I think that has to play into the ranking somewhat.
Mm.
But bar for bar, Mist is very, very average. Very
He's just
average.
yeah. Again, he seems to be at home in the OK group. But
Mm. And he's below H, 100%. Unknown T. So basically, I heard Unknown T The first time I heard him was about a day or two before Homet and B came out. So I'm hearing this is going viral on Twitter, the snippet of it. I'm seeing this guy um, talking about bend your back and then dig it, but but he's got like some deep voice. It's actually wavy. So I was excited when that came out. Then I think the next track I heard from him was Throwback, and that's like if you guys don't know, Tiny Temper did a track called Wifey Rhythm, and basically Unknown T basically sampled that, and so it's kind of like grime, kind of not the grimiest grime, but it kind of is. And he's talking some real stuff, talking about Sony Ericssons, talking about 5-piece suites or 2-piece suites. Can't remember the specific price, but yeah, he's talking about things that growing up as a 90s kid and that he remembers, you know. And I think that's really good to see that. Unfortunately, after that, I believe he went prison. So since he came out of prison, he released a song called Fresh Home, which I really like, and a song called Squeeze and Bust, which I really like as well. But the majority of his stuff is drill, and that's the thing. He kind of talks about similar stuff. The only time he stepped out of that was the Throwback song. So I think somewhere between good and okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's got more to prove, I think.
I think because he's so early in his career, I don't want to rank him okay, if that makes sense. Because if we listen to the Throwback song, he's rapping real stuff, and except from Dave, maybe Wiley, well, not even Wiley, I don't think. I don't think anyone on this list so far has actually rapped real stuff like that, you know?
He's definitely got his potential, yeah. I think good because he needs a stronger catalogue to be professional.
Yeah. Because I was listening to I went to Spotify and his top like 5 or 10 songs were those songs I mentioned, and then like mixtape madness freestyles or whatever, you know. So yeah, good. Lower tier, good. Octavian, my guy Alpha, he discovered him like a year or two ago, and well, he always knew about him, but he kind of like listened to his music for the first time, and he basically fell in love with his music. I didn't really fall in love with the music. I mean, some of the music was good, but like some of the stuff, like I feel like he's a bit lazy with the singing on some of the stuff. Like I think he doesn't care if it's perfectly in key, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that's not to say it's out of key. That's just to say he doesn't mind releasing something a little bit rough around the edges.
The first track I think I heard from him was "Party Here." Have you heard that one? And then I think he caught Drake's attention, and then it kind of snowballed from there because like once Drake points to something, obviously it gets a lot of attention. But I think he's versatile, like you mentioned. He's collabed with a lot of people from outside of rap. You know, he's done tracks with Gorillaz, Jessie Ware, Diplo. So he's trying his hand at different things. But I think
what I do like is how he kind of developed his own sound.
Yeah, I think the singing could definitely be better.
Other than Mostak, DBE, M Huncho, I think he and J Hus, he's the only one who's found his signature style that he focuses on. You know, even though he's versatile,
I
like
think
I think
he's
all the other rappers are versatile and they will jump on anything. So if Grime's popping today, they're gonna jump on Grime. If Drill's popping today, they're gonna jump on Drill. You know what I mean?
yeah. I do think he's still experimenting a bit. I think his
Mm,
voice and that singing style is what he wants to emphasize most in his music, but
yeah,
he's still I'm not sure if he's carved out exactly how he wants to use it
he
best. He
has
still
he
seems to be a
hasn't
bit,
perfected it yet.
yeah. So I think
So
he's
is he a
definitely
professional if he hasn't perfected it? You know?
he's got the talent to be a good rapper, but whether he's got enough songs to make that market, I don't know. I think he should be better than okay, but again, he's still finding his feet a bit. So I don't know.
Where we ranking him on this?
Are you happy with good as well?
Yeah, good.
I think yeah. I think obviously Krept and Conan are a bit ahead of him.
Yeah.
Probably AJ Tracy as well. Um,
Okay.
maybe I put him maybe ahead of Unknown T, but in between Heady One and Unknown
You
T.
see,
Where you?
you're a Heady One fan.
Yeah, I am,
You're a
but I'm
proper
trying to be
Heady One
objective.
fan. If I don't like someone, I'll be honest straight. I don't like that guy, and that's it. I can be objective from then, but I don't like them. All right, here, Tiny Temper. I told you to listen to two projects from Tiny Temper, which was
I heard
Junk
youth.
Food and
Yeah.
Youth. The reason I told you that is because I honestly believe that your ranking will completely change. Like, I don't see you putting him as GOAT, and I wouldn't put him as GOAT either. But let's be honest, he has the most number ones out of any UK rapper. That's like 6 or 7. Um, no other UK rapper has that. I mean, Stormzy has 2, I think. I think he has 2 number ones.
Bossy
That
Bop and
Bossy Bop and Take Me Back to London.
what about Own It? Must have got to number one as well. Or did it not?
No, I don't think so. He charted
Maybe.
high, but
Yeah, so 2 or
number
3
one.
number ones. I'm not sure.
Um, mm, let's see where Own It went to. Official charts. Bear with me, people. See, this
Could you just
website's a little
search?
bit.
Can you just search any song?
I think so. Um, search artist news or search title. Just accept that for now. Oh well, not a big deal. Own It.
It did reach
It
number
did go
one.
number one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 number ones. All right, so um, yeah, that's 3 number ones.
But yeah, so you were saying Tiny Temper's got a lot of number ones in his bag.
Yeah. Yeah, Tiny's got a lot of number ones. The most number ones. I think he has more number ones than Ed Sheeran, but can't be asked to search that right now. I think Calvin Harris might have more number ones than him, but that's only Calvin Harris as the DJ, Calvin Harris as a producer. When Calvin Harris sings on his own tracks, not all of them go chart as high, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, so let's be honest. This was like 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012 when Tiny Temper was about. So about 3, 4 years. He was about, I think he was 18 when he released Pass Out. Could be wrong. Might be wrong. But Pass Out, I think it's an underrated song because you got to realize, take into the fact that it's basically like it's kind of like a bit of drum and bass and a bit of not drum and bass. Sorry, it's kind of like dubstep almost. You
And
have
also
that
it's
kind of
yeah.
you kind of have that kind of reggae influence, that kind of heavy kick in it, that kind of underground song. And I was listening to one of his interviews, and he said "Pass Out" was meant to be the warm-up single. He had another song that he was planning to release after that, but "Pass Out" just was the one that went, and it just didn't make sense releasing the other track from them. So, and his producer at the time was Labyrinth, and Labyrinth's worked with a lot of people and done amazing things. So Tiny Temper, let's quickly talk about the Youth album. If you didn't listen to Junk Food, I think that's a bit of a shame, but yeah, Youth album, I think when it comes to UK artists releasing albums, because I don't listen to many albums, but if I listen to an album and I really like it, I will listen to it over and over again. Tiny Temper's one of those artists, and I actually end up buying the physical CD for the album.
Wow.
What's your opinion on the album?
So with Youth, I think it did surprise me because what we hear from Tiny Temper, if you're just listening to mainstream stuff, is obviously his pop songs. So when he's got like Text from My Ex with Tinashe, or I think in that album you had Not Letting Go with Jess Glynn, so those kind of big radio singles. Girls Like with Zara Larsson, so those are tracks that probably everyone would recognize. But then, yeah, I didn't expect him to go back to his roots.
What did you think of like tracks like Something Special? Because that's like near enough a drill song.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to kind of dabble in other genres as much as he did on that album. But if you're talking about as a listening experience, I think it felt like he was trying to, it felt forced and he was trying to do a bit of both. And for me, I just feel like he didn't really know kind of where he belongs. I think he's become so ingrained as a pop artist now that I just find it hard to listen to him on
think
stuff.
like he's a pop artist. We know him as a pop artist, but he came from the urban scene. So if you had listened to the Junk Food Project, you would have heard like that he's trying to take it back to his roots. But like, I think what he was saying in the interview again was he's trying to serve two markets.
Yeah, that's exactly
the urban market and the pop market. So like, it's kind of difficult to balance the two. But once you do, then you're good. So someone like Stormzy, good, you know?
I think he's hit that sweet spot, and maybe Tiny Temper's struggling, but he's aiming for that sweet spot as well.
But even like Tiny Temper, when he's done these big American collabs, they don't seem forced. Like the track with Wiz Khalifa, Till I'm Gone, and the track with 2 Chainz, Trampoline. Like it fits with what he does, but I think because we see him as a pop artist,
I think it might be my impression that colors it. Yeah,
most people would just never get past that, you know.
100%.
And bar for bar, he has some of the most memorable bars out of any UK rapper, you know.
It looks like you're going to place him quite higher than most people expect.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Most people haven't heard Youth. Most people haven't heard Junk Food. So
where would you say those projects elevate him to in this list?
Youth as a project is a G.O.A.T project.
I'll give it a few more listens.
That's my opinion.
But that's a strong statement.
As a project, it's a G.O.A.T project. There's like one song that I might skip sometimes, which is I think it's called Find Me, which is featuring Jake Bugg, because that's just not the type of music. Like Jake Bugg is kind of like one of them Ed Sheeran guys, like sings.
I'd say he's more indie, but yeah,
but you know what I mean. Sings, plays guitar, you know. And actually, Tiny Temper and Jake Bugg, they both went to one train station, I think, and performed the song like they like as if they was basking. But I feel like this third album, because his first album was pop, second one was more was more experimental. But I felt like this third album, nobody was talking about it. No media company was talking about it. No other artist was talking about it. And I feel like it went under the radar, which
Yeah,
I
his
think
pop
is a
stuff
shame.
definitely overshadows most of his other stuff, doesn't it?
I think it is a big shame. Like they did a disservice to him. And the thing is,
So,
Tiny's still working with a lot of UK artists. So um, who's he working with? He's working with Young Bane. He's working with Notes, Young'un, I think Mr. Easy, and there's quite a few others as well that he's working with. Pounds, drill rapper. He's also signed to Disturb in London. So yeah, and this is the thing: Disturb in London, the label, has basically taken over taken over Tiny Temper's career. So Tiny Temper, if we're looking at the numbers, I think he he is probably the biggest UK rapper of all time. If we're looking at stats, but I think like
but not in terms of influence though.
nah. But we do have to acknowledge when Tiny Temper came into the game, when Chipmunk came into the game, when Tinchy Strider,
Yeah,
N-Dubs, a couple other people, when they came into the game, they kind of broke down that first kind of door. So like people were able to come in to do grime. So like someone like AJ, he can make whatever music he wants now, you know. Dave, he can
I
make the
see.
music that
I
he
hear
wants to
that.
make.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be possible if people like Tiny Temple or Chipmunk or whoever
So do you think
else
that puts him
didn't
in
break
the
down the door.
professional category?
Yeah, I think that did. Bar for bar, he can't go toe for toe with Chip, even though when Chip did clash him, he eventually did respond with two diss tracks, I think. I think one of them's called It's Pete, which is featuring Stormzy and Bugs Malone. And the other one is called Being the Man, which is on the Junk Food project, which I think Stormzy does the hook on that one. JME's featured on it, and Miss Banks is on it as well. But when it came to those tracks, he didn't really diss him much, you know. So if he's in a professional, he's not high in the professional, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. He's strong, good, and at best low professional.
Yeah, I think he showed he's done more for the game than Crypto Conan, 100%. But I feel like a lot of people just don't rate him, which for whatever reason
You're
is a
passionate about
shame.
this guy, so I'm
No,
gonna
it's not
defer to you.
even. It's not even. It's just that the projects was good. Like the first two projects weren't good, and I can be 100% honest. Like Discovery wasn't good. Um, what was the second one called? I can't remember. Um, yeah, I can't remember the second project. But his most recent two projects are good. And if anyone wants to know what I'm kind of talking about, listen to his most recent songs. So he has a song with Notes called Top Winners, which is kind of picking up pace. And he has a song with Tion Wayne called Montclair. So, and I kind of like how he's coming on. He's kind of exploring singing a little bit on the track with Tion Wayne, Montclair. I feel like with Tiny Temper, because he's been in the game for like a decade, there's more to talk about than say M Huncho or Dave or whoever, you know. Like Chip, we could have been talking about clashing for like half this episode, but I felt like clashing is just one part of Chip, you know. So Tiny Temper, his influence, not influence, but what he's done for the game, either if it was on purpose or by accident, he's opened up the doors for certain artists to come through. And it was almost single-handedly, almost. I mean, you had N-Dubs, you had Chip, you had certain other people. But the reality is that everyone went back to the original genres, and Tiny was the only one doing pop beyond that, you know? So I think
I hear that.
low professional. Stormzy. Stormzy. You see, if Stormzy, I would be putting Stormzy as GOAT if he had a few more clashes, you know? If he had a few more clashes, if he didn't release that song Crown where he was just singing awfully on, then maybe he'd been GOAT. But he's definitely high professional. High professional.
Yeah, I think
He's
we're between these two categories.
He's above Dave, definitely.
Well, let's just say I think
this thing's bugging out, but yeah.
You know, the only guy to headline Lasto out of these.
I think
he's elevated the genre.
I think the only guy on this list who could have done it when in the height of their career was Tiny Temper.
Yeah, but I just don't think
of his career.
I don't think that would be
in the height of his career, because
Glastonbury announced Tiny Temper headlining. I don't think people would be happy.
Tiny Temper was headlining a lot of festivals at that time. Let's be honest. He was doing a lot of festivals then.
I think with Glastonbury you have to be a certain caliber, but fair enough. I think talking about Stormzy again, like his live performances are so impassioned. You know,
like
even if some of his gospel tracks,
some of my earlier music, I was inspired by Stormzy, and like, you know what I mean, and like even down to his performance, like he does like some like high knees kind of thing. He raises his knees or whatever. I was kind of like picking up from that, and over time I developed into my own performer. So yeah, I think he's the highest professional so far on this list.
And I think his brand as well is like very. His music is transparent, even when he's going into gospel.
One of the only things I kind of I'm waiting to hear from him is his label. So his label signed to Atlantic, but I haven't heard of any artists that have signed to it. I could be wrong, but I'm not aware of any artists that have signed to it.
Yeah. You've also got to think that Stormzy probably has the biggest influence, I mean, in terms of having a voice on social issues. And I think that's partly down to his music being so personal and having that authority on the mic. It's
personal, but most black people don't listen to Stormzy. There's white people that listen to Stormzy. And that's just a fact.
I mean, if you're asking me personally, I listen to more J Hus than Stormzy. I mean, I vibe with his music more, but you just can't deny that he has achieved a lot. Yeah.
Chip wants to call himself the Grand Scene Saver. Stormzy might be. He might be. Stormzy, after Skepta and after Meridian Dan released German Whip, and then Skepta released That's Not Me, Stormzy was able to come through, and he didn't have to put in certain of the work that Wiley or Chip had to put in and go through certain of the struggles they did, or say like a Gigs or someone. But the truth is, he was hungry. Every time he was on the mic, he was eating it up. He was hungry. Like he was doing when he did a lot of his freestyles he did, the beat was still going. The beat had done and he was still going. He was just that hungry for it, you know? So yeah, I think he's the high professional. Russ.
I have nothing to say on this man, so you go ahead.
Keisha, Becky, Gunlean. That's all I've heard from him. So
It's hard to have him in the same convo as some of
it's
these men who are like so deep in the game. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I can't really rank him that high. Actually, he did a song with Dappy. Actually, the song's called Splash. It's kind of like a new take on drill, kind of. But I still like Russ. He has like the same flow, and yeah, it's just after a few songs, there's no point, you know. But is he the worst rapper? That's the question.
No, I think he can get to a better place than M Huncho and DB.
I don't. Uh,
At least he has a couple of bangers. I don't
he's
bang out
bugging out.
anything by those two.
Yeah, dear. All right, Slow Tie. I think that he's okay. He has a lot of potential. I don't personally like his style, but I understand it. You know, I understand it.
Mm. I've seen
Um,
him. I've seen him live, and I like that punk energy he's got. You know, if you go back to like when the punk scene was in rock, I mean, you know, now rap is like the zeitgeist. It's the main genre, and he's really latching on to kind of the raw energy side of rap and just channeling that. Um, I think obviously his whole idea behind his music is like being a working class guy growing up in Britain and like telling the story of like how
mm. And
his
the thing is,
communities were probably like
there's definitely
deprived
space
and
for
stuff.
that. There's definitely
Yeah,
space for that. Working class white guys,
yeah,
um,
exactly that.
basically talking about their life, and they don't have to talk about dippings and splashings and all
Mm.
of that. You know,
And like you, he's quite upfront about how he feels about Boris, so you might
mm.
vibe with that.
Apparently he did have like a fake like Boris head like chopped off
Yeah,
and was
he did
holding
do
it
that in
up
the
on
Mercuries.
stage.
Yeah,
I think that was a
so
massive statement.
he's upfront about his politics, and he's also like really crazy on stage. He's completely nuts, and I think that adds to his personality. But I think
Yeah.
he's got it. I mean, he's only one album in. That album was very well praised, so I think he's got more to offer than the people that are okay. That's why I put him in the good. He's got a lot of potential.
I think it's okay. I don't personally like his music, but I get it. But I don't think his music's better than Unknown T. I don't think
Come
it's.
on, we can push for a good at least.
All right, you kind of budged on a couple for me, so I'm good.
I just feel
Skepta,
like he's starting a movement.
Skepta. I'm putting him straight in GOAT.
He's got to be in that conversation. I was going to say he's
There's
got to be in
nobody
that goat
else. There's
conversation.
nobody else. There's nobody else that can compete to him. Out of this list, at least, you know. Gets is good. Gets is he might even be better than him, but Gets hasn't been able to do what Skepta's been able to do. So let's
No
move on to
way. Yeah.
Gets. Gets professional. Professional. He
You don't
hasn't.
even want to chat about Skepta. We're just straight goat.
Nah,
I mean,
nah,
I agree with
nah, nah. It's just unless you have something noteworthy.
you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. People know most at this stage, but literally every time Skepta's on a track, I'm excited. That tells you
Mm-hmm.
everything.
So Gets. I want to put him here just after Stormzy, and he might be a better rapper than Stormzy, but he hasn't been able to achieve certain of the stuff that
Mm.
Stormzy has in his career, you know?
He isn't that icon, and I know that's not the only
Mm,
important thing, but
yeah,
it counts.
it counts. It holds weight. What are you saying for ranking?
Yeah, I mean,
Professional.
he commands a lot of respect as a rapper, so he's definitely better than okay. He's definitely better than good as well. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're gonna do.
I'm putting him there after Stormzy. Dizzy Rascals.
So, Boy in the Corner is like that album that everyone still looks to. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And he's come out with some quality since then. I know when people talk about
He's
Dizzy Rascal, they're always going to go back to that classic record,
the
but
thing
he's
is
done more.
he's done some songs with like Calvin Harris or
Yeah.
whoever. He's done like pop songs, which
Obviously,
Gets
Bonkers, Holiday,
yeah,
big hits.
but like Gets didn't really do that. So I kind of feel like Dizzy Rascal's credibility has gone down a little bit, just a little bit, just a little
But do you
bit.
think the pop songs weren't bad, were they? I mean, for what they
Weren't
were.
horrible, but I mean they can't compete with some of Gets' songs, you know, because Gets has been doing grime this whole time.
I just feel like if you go into pop, it shouldn't count against you as long as you make it listenable.
I mean, it depends on how you're gonna do it. If you're trying to have a career in pop, like say Tiny Temper, you're trying to own that lane, that shouldn't go against you, you know.
Mm.
But if you're someone like Chip, when you do pop, it worked out for a period, then it didn't work out, then you're signed to Ti, that didn't work out. Now you're back on grime, and now you're dissing everyone because nobody's trying to listen to you, and you're in debt like 100 grand. And these are all facts, by the way. You can research all that. So someone like Chip, like I feel like his credibility is kind of lessened, and I think like someone like Wiley, his credibility is kind of lessened because he was dissing Stormzy for making songs with Ed Sheeran when Stormzy made a grime song with Ed Sheeran, when Wiley made a pop song with Conor Maynard, you know. So
Wiley's like Donald Trump. He just says things. I
yeah,
don't think he really thinks.
yeah,
He
yeah,
stirs just to stir up in it. But
yeah. I want to put Dizzy Rascal just just next to Gets.
yeah, I mean, he made Boy in the Corner. He can't. He has to be at least professional.
Yeah, Cadet. So
R.I.P.
he's one of the few rappers that I've actually met. I've had the chance of meeting. Um, he came into my college, my first year of college. I had the chance to rap alongside him. I chose not to because just didn't feel comfortable at the time. You know how it is. And basically, what I got from him, because he had about 2 runs. He's Kret's cousin, but he's had about 2 runs. Whereas Kret's had like 1 run, really. Cadets had like 2 runs. Like Gypset days, he was doing like grime, and then he ended up doing like rap, Afro swing, those kind of things, you know. And I feel like when he really gets into something deep, like Slut Freestyle or Closure, it's undeniably great, you know, undeniably great. But I feel like he didn't do enough of it, and that's why he'll forever be known as an underrated legend.
Yeah, I still remember tracks like Closure, like listening to them for the first time and just being like taken back. Like, so he had that. He had that in his book, in his game. He had that in his weaponry.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a professional. Actually,
He didn't. I don't think he managed to
nah,
put enough together though, which
nah,
is sad.
nah. He's not. He's not. He's ahead of Krypton Conan when it comes for bar, because he would talk about more real stuff. Krypton Conan make a bunch of punchlines and not really say anything, you know.
Yeah, but Captain Conan is still so reliable. Like they're consistent.
They've done more for the game than him.
Hmm.
So it's
But
either
where do you think
ahead.
Cadet would have ended up if he had his
I
whole life
think
ahead of him?
if he had his whole life ahead of him, he would have gone down as a goat.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. If he had stopped trying to make them club kind of songs or those type of songs and actually use his full talent to his full capability, because Slut Freestyle and some of his other freestyles are better than some of the stuff I've heard from Skepta, you know?
So are we judging him on potential or what he's achieved? Do you think?
You have to say what he's achieved. Really, if this is on what he's achieved, then you have to put him before AJ, really. because AJ's opened up certain doors in the game. He's gone to the US and gone across the world and done certain things. He's had like major songs, like Labrador Grove was a high charting song. Cadet didn't have any of those, you know. I mean, he made the charts. He made the charts a couple times, but he didn't like reach the top 10. So I'm putting him here. Happy with that, yeah?
Yeah. It's hard to rank him, so it's difficult, but I feel like you're balancing that well, like his potential with actually what he actually recorded.
Fredo.
This is the closest guy that I would say like I don't like. Like I'm trying to be objective.
I don't like him either.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I know some people that have been around him. Certain things. I don't like him.
I feel like girls find him peng, and that just rates him.
But I think that's just because he's mixed race. Like they find every mixed race guy peng, you know. So
overall, though, yeah, he doesn't. And I've seen him live because I have a mate who's into him, and he just didn't have any charisma. He didn't have any charisma on stage, like nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, like he hasn't. What's he really done? Bar for bar, he's not that great. Like he had a bar saying, "The Shard is where I'm living." Like, like, come on, the Shard is where I'm living. No, you don't live in the Shard. That's a lie.
But it's one of those that's
just really basic. You know,
when you hear him, you might think he sounds like he has good bars, but then when you actually listen to the bars, there's not much there. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is because the rap scene thinks he has a lot of street credibility, but if you really want to know if he has street credibility, ask people who are in the streets, and they'll let you know whether he has street credibility or not. I can't say because I'm not in the streets. I may know people or may not, but that's neither here nor there. Because people have biased opinions on certain people, you know.
I find some of his behaviour a bit cringe as well. Do you remember that video where he was like strapping in the money and
50K challenge? Like that's just dumb. Like, why do you need to film yourself putting a seatbelt on £50,000? And it wasn't even that much. A lot of these rappers flex and say that it's theirs and say that it's that when it's not. You know.
Yeah, I'm happy to keep this guy lower than what he would want. Don't gas him.
He's had a couple big songs.
Funky Friday, obviously, with Dave was big.
Yeah, he's had a couple songs, Real Like That and 100. I Caramba. Yeah.
Netflix and Chill.
Netflix and Chill. That one I like from him. I really like that one from him.
Mm-hmm. And then what was the one he jumped on with Miss So High? That had a lot of charts.
So High, yeah. So I think he goes just above Mist.
Yeah, I think not higher than okay.
H is better than him.
He needs to stand out.
100% H is better.
That's saying something.
JME. JME. If we're talking about legacy, if we're talking about what he done for grime, he was near enough the only mainstream grime MC to still do grime when everyone was doing pop. And you have to respect him for that. You have to.
It's funny that we were just talking about, yeah.
Bar for bar, he can go toe to toe with the majority of grime MCs. And
it's fun, yeah.
I like how he came into the game. He had a lyric. Everyone thinks to NC tough, your lyrics must be about negative stuff. So he's trying to change the narrative. Your lyrics don't have to be about boring my man up and hurting this guy and you know what I mean and taking these drugs or selling these drugs or just doing like negative things. You know? Even though at certain times he's made songs that had lyrics that may have a bit of violence in, but it's not too deep into the violence, if that makes sense. So I think personally, I think he's above Tiny Temper.
It's funny that we're just talking about Fredo because
He's
JME is so much more likable than Fredo.
yeah,
Like
he's
JME is
above
like
Tiny Temper.
everyone loves him.
Is he above? Is he above? I think he's above J Hus. I think he goes either here or here.
Well, I rate J House more than you do, so this is difficult.
I think he competes with Chip, because Chip was one of the only ones who wasn't really talking much about the roads. Really, I mean, he did here and there. I think the only UK rapper that hasn't talked about the roads and isn't like a sweet boy kind of rapper, I think is Tiny Temper, even though he's done that sweet boy kind of rap at times. But yeah, I think JME, his direct peer is Chip. He's his direct competitor. I haven't heard JME do much clashing though, so I think JME goes just below Chip. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, and I also think he's just a funny guy. Follow him on socials as well.
Yeah, but he's actually so smart as well. Like, if
Yeah,
you watch his interviews, he's so smart. He's almost as smart as a Carla, you know. And a Carla, you will learn so much from a Carla if you watch his interviews, read his books, or whatever.
Especially with the stuff that's going on
or
in the
even
world
listen
right
to
now.
his music or like his freestyles. Even.
He's so relevant at the moment, especially with everything going on. Like,
yeah, like I watched his live stream back today. There's so much gems that he dropped in there. Young Bane.
Last one.
He's more versatile than Mostak. I think he's better than Slow Tie.
Yeah, I think versatility is his thing, but again, he's still finding himself. He's not quite sure what his strengths are.
Than Slow Tie. I think he's better than Octavian currently is, but I think Octavian will soon overtake him. Obviously, you're a Heady One fan, don't really want to go beyond here.
I'm a Slow Tie fan as well, but I got to compromise, and I think you think
certain
Young
things
Bane
you
is
just
decent.
have to compromise on. I think here is good. I think this is accurate.
He's not. He's far from professional. I think he needs more. He needs more big results, big songs.
I think he needs to go harder with the lyrics. Like he did one drill song. I think it was drill called Gang Shit, and basically that song was basic. But then he did like another song on like his quarantine EP or tape or whatever it was called, called "Are You Mad?" And he's basically like singing the chorus, and then like rapping like properly.
Don't you think he's got quite a good voice? I think so.
I feel like he's slightly overrated, the same way like AJ Tracy's overrated, if that makes sense. But I feel like Young Bane, he knows what he's doing. Like I got some acapellas from him. So obviously I'm a DJ. So I could show you like how much auto-tune he uses. Like you would be able to hear the level of auto-tune he uses, which is a little bit too much. But when it comes for the young guys doing Afro swing, there isn't too many guys that are better than him. We could say Notes, but Notes' live performances are horrendous. Horrendous. Anytime I've watched a Dave live performance, it's just horrendous, you know? But Young Bane, he has energy, you can see. He has the energy, and I think he's earned his spot here. I like to see more from him. I'd like to see him go more deep into lyrics. Much more deep into lyrics. I think one of his lyrics was, "Look how we went round here with the 30s. Look at how we did Pop Smoke so dirty." I think that's the lyric. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm happy with the
Just
list.
kind
I think it's nailed on to the. I mean, there's some disagreement between us, obviously, but overall we have a similar idea.
All right, let's kind of go back on the list and see where would you rank certain of them. Which ones are you slightly unhappy with? And we can change it about. I figured Tiny Temper, you're trying to rank him like okay. I kind of figured that.
No, I think good. You persuaded me quite well.
I think if you listen to Youth a few more times, and
but I need to listen to Junk Food as well.
Junk
maybe
Food,
in my opinion,
because Junk Food, I told you listen to that one first.
You know what? You can leave it how it was. Actually, I think.
Nah,
I think I'm more or less on board.
It doesn't quite sit right with me. G.O.A.T and Conan are better rappers, but they don't say nothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but not everyone's looking to hear something deep all the time.
But like,
and
I mean, Tiny Temper was trying to inspire generational people. Like he was saying stuff like, "I used to be the kid that no one cares about, but you just got to keep screaming till they hear you out." You know, he's trying to inspire people. Like lyrically, that's not the greatest bar for bar, you know, but
you think it sums up his ideas?
He's saying more than G.O.A.T and Conan, but G.O.A.T and Conan, their wordplay is just better, you know. So it's a tough one. It's either here or here. It's one of the two. I think here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with here. Yeah, I don't want anyone to kill me for ranking Tiny Temper above Dead because they think he's dead when they haven't heard his project. You know, I'm ranking off what I've heard, and from what I've heard all 3 of his projects, all 4 of his projects even. The first 2 I didn't like at all, and I can be 100% honest. I did not like them, but the second 2, I really like them. Junk Food isn't a project that I play regularly. It's not really got too much replay value to me, but something like Youth, I feel like he talks stuff like, I think in Something Special he was saying 2010 they were chart toppers, 2020 now they're Stuffboyd, you know. So, but he's kind of starting to make a little bit of a comeback now, and I think because he's shown his range and he's done stuff for the game, either if it was on purpose or by accident, he's done certain things. So yeah, and yeah, but we're gonna be doing another one soon, I guess. It's up to you if you want to do it, but I think we should do another one, do another list of rappers, and everyone let me know what you think and let me know what rappers we should get involved.
Yeah, and this was a vibe, man.
Should we bring in a guest? Should we bring in a guest and let us know that as well?
It will change things up, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm myself, Slay-R, and that's Zayn, and we're out. Peace.